Welcome, everybody, to episode 12 of the Old Man Magic podcast, where your hosts Alex and Steve discuss current and not so current matters in the world of Magic the Gathering. Welcome, Alex. How you doing?
How's it going?
It's going well. It's early start
Early.
today. I'm suffering. I've had my coffee, but I'm
You're
still not
fine.
awake. I don't wake up until noon on most days, and I don't prefer to wake up on Saturday until 2 or so. When I say wake up, I mean I get out of bed. I have a job. I have to be up, but I'm not functioning until noon most weekdays or after 2 on weekends. So we'll see how this early podcast goes. Alex,
Yes.
we have some follow-ups to episode 11. Not episode 11. Well, one of them's a follow-up to episode 11. You wanted to say something about Phyrexian Tribute, which you said we brought up a few weeks ago. And since I don't remember anything, I don't even remember what we talked about regarding
okay.
Phyrexian Tribute. I don't remember what a Phyrexian Tribute is. I think it's a sacrifice card of some sort, right?
Yes, it's an artifact destruction sacrifice card.
Yes.
And it is I can read it too if you want.
Is this the Antiquities card?
No, it's from Mirage.
See how little I remember?
Mirage. And
But it
is
went up crazy in price for
it's
unknown
yeah,
reasons.
we talked about it because it was on MTG stocks, like jumping up. There was like a push on it. It's 1 black, 2 colorless sorcery. You sacrifice 2 creatures to destroy an artifact. Which we both agreed sounded underwhelming, and we made fun of it some a little bit, I think.
Oh no.
Uh,
Is it really much better than we realized?
well, here's the thing that I didn't know, and I don't really even know if this is true still, but I found it in an article. I don't have the article in front of me anymore, but it was one of the, I think it was from a TCG player article. You know how they like suggest articles too on there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about cards, I think, that had spiked recently or something. And they commented in that article that it is one of only 2 mono black artifact removal options, period. The other being Gate to Phyrexia from Antiquities.
Which right before Phyrexian Tribute started spiking in price, that spiked in price, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it
Maybe not
definitely
right
went up
before.
around the time everything else did, I think, a little bit, but it's like an $80 card.
Okay. So if you
And
don't want to spend $80, this was your option.
yeah, for mono black. And I still haven't really like fact checked that because I don't really know how to other than going through everything. But
You
I
could do
haven't found.
Scryfall. You could search
Yeah,
for
yeah, I've done that a little bit. I
destroy
didn't
target
find anything.
artifact.
I'm just saying
Yeah.
I'm
You
not
could always miss
confident
stuff
I've
though.
exhaustively searched for it.
Yeah.
But so far, yeah, it seems like there's just no options in black for that. So I guess that's part of the reason why, you know, it has some value and it got targeted and people want to play with it sometimes, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
I wonder if this will come down because I'm looking at this price chart on MTG stocks, and it did this just a year ago. It did the same thing.
Mm. Yeah, I think it'll probably come back
It
down.
spiked up to $10, went back down to like 2
Yeah.
after several months, and then now it's up
Lots
to
of people
$10
probably
again.
have these, in a box somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. There are only so many. You say, "Oh, this is true. This is one reason why it might be, worth picking up if you're a mono black player." Like you said, only 2 artifact destruction options in black, according to this person. And one of them is an antiquities card. So if you need to play a mono black deck, if you really want to play a mono black deck, you don't have many options. You might need to pick this up.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem great,
would,
but if it's your best option, at
I
least for
would
a
try to
sideboard.
also think about using lands or artifacts for artifact removal if that's possible. I don't know if there are any lands that do that, but I'm sure there are artifacts that can destroy other artifacts.
I actually have no idea. You
I
would
don't know
think there
either.
would be
I'm
something
guessing.
out there, but I have no idea. Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe that's just baked into the, you know, color wheel and everything.
Pie.
Huh?
Pie.
Well, yeah, both. I think you said hi. I'm like, yeah, I'm here.
Color pie. Okay. Interesting. Interesting use case for Phyrexian Tribute.
Yeah.
You might need it if you're mono black.
Yeah. I'll try to find out more.
Other thing, this is a follow-up. This is another follow-up, and this is actually a follow-up to the previous episode. Earthbind. Last week we talked about that list of cards that Wizards is not going to be reprinting in the 30th anniversary edition, and Earthbind was on that list. And we talked about how people just can't get enough of this tied up fairy. It just drives people just insane with eroticism.
Yep, all the horny nerds love this card.
And then, of course, we knew what was going to happen.
Yeah,
but I didn't expect it to happen to this extent.
Me neither. Yeah, Earthbind has seen a big spike. Everyone's gobbling it up.
As of this moment, since last week, revised Earthbind has gone up 890% from a price point of about 50 cents last week to $5.25.
And it's crazy to see people go nuts over a revised card like this.
I know. I didn't look at all to see like what had happened to the beta or the alphas, or even the unlimiteds. Revised is the one that showed up on MTG Stock's interest
because
page.
of the horny nerds, those ones were already kind of expensive.
Yeah.
Like it had already been targeted by it.
But I don't think, I mean, they were crazy. They were not like Unlimited Earthbind wasn't like $100 card, was it?
I don't know, but probably not.
Yeah.
At least not on alpha and beta, maybe.
I mean, you see big moves. Very rarely do I ever see anything that spikes up over like 500%, over 1,000%. At some point, like 2 days ago when I first saw this, Earthbind had risen like 1,000% week over week. Now it's up to 890%. When something moves this much, it's not just a bunch of, it can't just be a bunch of people all being like, oh, I need to get some Earthbinds right now. Do there have to be whales involved for 1,000% price increase over the course of a week? Does it have to be like a big score or two?
Yeah, I'm not sure how you draw the line between the two, like, but like where exactly you draw that line. But I know there definitely have got to be some people out there who are trying to snap up a bunch of copies,
putting like tens of thousands of dollars into it on like a,
I don't know about that, but
weekly basis. I don't know. I don't know either.
I feel like that would be a bad
I don't know
move.
how many have sold.
Yeah,
I don't know how many have to sell to make this, like in this price chart that they say, oh, it rose about 1,000%. How many sold? Did all of the cheap ones really sell and that drove up the price, or did all the listers immediately when they saw the decision of Magic to not reprint this,
I bet a bunch of the cheap ones sold because
pull their cheap listings and put them up for
usually
$5?
people who speculate on news like this are pretty fast, at least faster than some of the vendors.
Yeah.
So right now an unlimited Earthbind is $30. And
so it's only a six-fold increased market price over revised.
$5 from September, from last month, and it's been $5 for, this is on TCG Player at least.
Okay. Yeah, MTG Stock says current market price of $23.29, but
it come down from 10 and to about 5, and now it's like, it says, I'm sorry, what did you say?
MTG Stock says current market price for unlimited Earthbind is like $26, $29, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, they're $30 for sale right now.
Okay. Oh, you were looking at revised a second ago?
No, I was looking at unlimited, but I was talking about what it used to be. It was $5 up until this spike a couple days ago.
Oh, okay.
And it's gone from 5 to 30.
Sixfold.
So let's see. In the past few days,
revised tenfold, unlimited sixfold.
At least 20 unlimited Earthbinds have sold on TCG Player. Maybe not 20. About that though. 15.
Not really a lot of, you see these things going up, and yeah, this is a ton of sales compared to normal, but it's really not. When I look at the volume, it's not like crazy high volume,
No, and that's what I was trying to see. I wanted to look at how many have been selling before this. Like,
yeah.
So near mint, you have about like 7 or 8 selling in September. About the same for August.
Sales
So
volume is what, like tripled or quadrupled
yeah,
on
yeah,
a daily
about that.
basis?
Yeah, triple. Yeah,
How many revised Earthbinds are out there's
that's the
print
thing.
numbers for
So
revised, right?
many. It's a common man.
I
It's like
know.
it's it might be hard to find an unlimited one in nice shape, so I can understand that. But there are so many mint revised Earthbinds. I don't know.
You would think. I go to shop, you know, I talk about that shop that I found nearby where they have their nickel box and I can just dig through, and
Hmm.
it's mostly new border stuff. But I did, when I was digging through, see revised, and a lot of the revised cards were like near mint. A lot of them.
Hmm.
Like I got 5 near mint Land War Elves for a nickel a piece. And there were a whole bunch of other revised stuff that I was going through. Because there's so much revised bulk that just sat around untouched for a very long time.
Yeah.
Uh,
But I don't think that means revised cards are never going to be worth money or that they can't be worth money. I just think you have
these
to
were commons, the ones
case
I'm
by
talking
case.
about
Yeah,
too.
you
Yeah.
have to consider the rarity and take it on a case by case basis. How much play those cards saw. Earthbind's one I think that no one played with this. It like went into your box.
I was
Uh
watching a video the other day. Uh, it was a YouTube video by a guy named Edwin the Magic Engineer,
huh.
and he makes good old school videos. He's not like a constant. He's not really like a YouTuber. He has YouTube videos. He made YouTube videos and gameplay, deck techs, how he stores his collection. He's kind of a guy that ends up. You see him in like some Rudy videos and some videos with some other like old school Magic dealers, collectors, but he's more of a player, and he puts a lot of thought into deck building and stuff like that. This was an older video I saw of his. He's not constantly pumping out videos. He's not a professional YouTuber. He has a job. Uh so this was an older, so he doesn't make them all the time. This was an older video that I caught, but it was a list of like, I think it was 15 underplayed or underappreciated old school cards. I think Earthbind was in that list somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Uh
I mean, it's not bad for the mana cost. Like it does two things at once. It does
yeah.
damage and it
I don't want
removes.
to spread fake news. I saw Earthbind in the comments, somebody talking about it in the comments, so I think he also talked about it in the video. And yeah, somebody was making the case for Earthbind being, much better than most people realize, and they were like, "Oh, you can even use it to take out hippies." But I just look at it, I'm
Okay.
like, you can also play a lightning bolt in red for
Yeah.
one
It's
red.
probably the kind of thing that you would add on top of lightning bolts.
Yes, yes. I just want, of course, you would never use this instead of lightning bolt, but
And
just
back in the day, you might be, playing some kind of might have been more likely to be playing a deck that didn't have flying creatures or was somehow like limited in that way. So, you're playing like red and green land creature kind of decks.
and it would
What
depend a lot on the format. Like if you're just playing 90,
yeah.
like if chain lightning isn't available to you. If I'm in a world where I can play lightning bolt and chain lightning, I'm not going to put Earthbind in my deck. That's all. It's not terrible, but I also just, like you said, you just put it in a box. I've never had a desire to play Earthbind. Some people might argue that it's underplayed,
I
but
didn't back in the day, that's for sure. I mean,
yeah,
maybe now it's I don't know. I would try it, but I'm also not sure. A lot of cards now I'm looking at and I'm like, oh, that seems good. And I'm like, I know for a fact back in the day I didn't think it was good. So I don't
maybe
know.
we just don't remember because we haven't played for a long
I don't
time.
know if I was limited in my like, you know, creativity back then, or
Hmm.
if I've like forgotten how to play so much that I think everything sounds good.
Yeah, I, I I definitely feel some of that the latter.
Yeah.
I haven't played in a long time, so I'm constantly looking at cards and being like, "Oh man, that looks awesome,"
Yeah.
and I'm sure it's not. And I'm sure there's like 15 other things that I would probably rather put in my deck once I started playing uh, more often. I'm
Yeah.
looking through the list of revised cards from a market price high to low on TCG Player because I'm trying to see what the highest price common was before Earthbind spiked. So now Earthbind is, of course, the highest price common and revised. 550 market price according to TCG Player. You could buy Revised Ivory Tower, Verduran Enchantress, Nightmare, Sarah Angel, Lord of the Pit, Sorceress Queen, all for less than Earthbind right now.
Yeah, I was going to mention Counterspell.
Counterspell, Ankh of Mitra.
$4.
Counterspell's an uncommon. I haven't found another common yet. You could buy a Revised Balance for less than current price of Earthbind, Mahamadi Djinn, Elvish Archers, Hypnotic Spectre. What is the second highest price common in Revised, Alex?
Still
People
going.
need to know.
Going.
I need to keep
We're
scrolling.
Still going down the list.
Dark Pact. Also on the ban list, but still, cheaper and a rare. Not the ban list, the list that they're not repricing.
It looks like
common.
Steve.
Lightning Bolt. There we go. Of course, that was the answer.
Yeah, market value of $2.20 according to what are near mint ones going for though?
When I placed my revised order a few months ago, I bought some revised Lightning Bolts. Pretty sure I got some near mint ones. I think I bought them for about $2. Maybe I'm fooling myself. Maybe I paid $3. Yeah, $1.73, $1.73, $1, $2.49.
Okay.
Let's say $2 plus $1 shipping. That's what you can get your revised near mint Lightning Bolts for. Yeah, is this Earthbind price really going to hold? In order for this price to hold, people are just going to have to hoard thousands of copies of Earthbind.
Yeah.
It's not. Lightning Bolt is obviously the most expensive common because people play this card. People love collecting it too, but it's highly playable.
And I mean, Earthbind has something like a little bit going for it as far as like demand, just because of like we talked about the horny nerds already before this. Like there's always been something about the card where it's worth a little more than every other common probably, but I don't know.
After Lightning Bolt comes Red Elemental Blast, the third highest price common revised.
Okay.
Highly playable.
Yeah.
Earthbind is no Lightning Bolt. Earthbind is no Red Elemental Blast. But people want to buy it out because they're like, never gonna be reprinted. This is gonna be the last fairy tied up in Japanese bondage ever printed in Magic the Gathering.
That is probably true.
We need to get as many copies as possible. Speaking of that, they put out this list of things they weren't going to reprint. Some of we already knew we already knew some things that were on it. Things like Crusade, stuff like that. But they added Earthbind, Weakness. Soon after that, I saw an announcement. There was a card that was banned in a format that you and I had never played. I think it was in Modern. I think it was a recently announced banning in Modern. The card, I'm going to pull it up for you, Alex, is called the Meat Hook Massacre.
Oh, yeah. People have been talking about that for a little while, as far as it being like a expensive, like hot card in the.
It was quite expensive.
In standard. It's in one of the most recent sets. I forget which one.
This is related to us briefly mentioned and maybe on the podcast and definitely talking off the podcast about how society in general has issues with like sexuality, but not with just horror and gore. It's like we're not going to reprint Earthbind.
Yeah.
But this is a modern card, the Meat Hook Massacre. It's like a psycho with a cleaver chopping up body parts, and there's a hand hanging on a hook.
Like, someone brought this up in like this very sort of discussion or argument online, and someone was like, the artwork in Meat Hook Massacre is actually not that bad. It's more just like suggestive. There's a hand on a hook and a dude chopping people up. Like, I don't know what the heck he was talking about. Unless there's a different artwork for this that I don't know about, but
it's just suggestive of dismemberment. It's not showing active dismemberment because it's a still image. It's a past dismemberment. It's not actively happening. But yeah, of course, then it's not also just a gore versus sexuality. There's what you mentioned about Earthbind. It's not just sexy. It's also
it might
potentially suggestive of our word. So,
So I can understand that being
a
real objection to the card. So
yes,
fine. We don't need to have the tied up fairy anymore.
Anyways, all that to say, Earthbind spiked up over 1,000% in price this week. Because people are crazy.
I have a revised one. I don't know if it's probably like lightly played.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I don't have any are because I got rid of all my commons. I told my mom to throw all my commons in the garbage like 20 years ago or something.
So sad.
And then 20 years later, I'm buying commons
Yeah.
from
Are you sure
revised
she did
stuff.
it? Are you sure she just like
No, she did. She kept saying, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" And then she saved all my rares, so that's why I still have things like Lake of the Dead and Wheel of Fortune and stuff like that. And then I sold some of those rares, like my dual lands. That was a smart move. Library of Alexandria, Moat.
hey, you kept Wheel of Fortune?
I kept Wheel of Fortune, yeah.
I still have mine too. I mean, that's a huge move. Wheel of Fortunes. I mean,
Because back in 2007, it wasn't worth me posting Wheel of Fortune on eBay to
yeah,
sell. I wasn't,
saved you.
Anyways, while you dig through your revised commons,
I
Alex,
don't
to look
see
for
it.
your Earthbinds,
I don't see it.
I'm going to start introducing segment one, our special topic of the week. So everybody's still pumping out more Magic the Gathering 30th anniversary edition videos. We're kind of done talking about that. I don't really have anything else to say about it. We covered what it was and what we thought the implications would be for the game and for collectability last week.
Uh-huh.
But it did get me thinking. So this is somewhat related. This was a topic that I want to bring up because of our discussion of 30th anniversary edition last week.
Okay.
When people would talk about 30th anniversary, how much it cost, and what the rares were from beta that you could pull, I kept hearing people say, you might pull the Hive, man. You're going to spend $1,000. You could get the Hive. I
The
heard multiple
Hive.
people say this. And I thought, hey, man, I kind of like the Hive. I don't think the Hive's that bad. I never built decks around the Hive, but if I was drafting or something and I saw a Hive there, I might pick that Hive.
I mean, I think the first time I ever saw it out of a pack before I even knew about it, when I opened it, I was like, cool, like it's like
Yeah.
kind of cool artwork. It makes these wasps, but it's just so expensive.
Yeah. But it got me thinking. There's got to be rares in beta worse than the Hive. There's got to be things you can pull
You would hate more than that.
from 30th anniversary edition, even worse than the Hive. So I'm going to talk about today rares from beta that I think are even worse than the Hive. And I put together a list, Alex.
I love it. Your list is awesome.
I'm going to start with the Hive. This is not a card that is worse than the Hive. This is the Hive.
We should have a benchmark.
I'm going to start with the Hive. What is the Hive? It was a rare. It was first printed in Alpha, last printed in 10th edition. It's an artifact, casting cost 5 colorless, a mono artifact, which they don't use that terminology anymore, but it just means an artifact you can use once, as opposed to the poly artifacts, which you could activate multiple times.
Per turn.
Per turn, yeah. So essentially, you have to tap this. You look at the original Alpha printing; they didn't have the tap symbol. It just says 5
the
colors.
same thing as like an icy manipulator. You have to tap it to use it.
Basically. Yeah, but like when we pull up, if you pull up the Hive from Revised, it has a tap symbol. I don't know when they added the tap symbol. I'm looking at the beta one. They don't have the tap symbol in beta yet either.
They in Revised, I think, is when they added
in it. Revised, okay.
Unless it was an expansion, but I think it was Unlimited still says tap. I think.
Yeah. So you can activate this mono artifact by paying 5 mana.
Yeah, now the Hive says tap on it.
Tap. Sorry. Creates a giant wasp. This is the language from the Alpha card. It's funny it doesn't need, it's funny to go through the wording on the original printing sometimes because it just
such awesome wording.
You just go on unnecessarily. Yeah. But the wording from the Alpha of the Hive says, no, sorry, this is from the beta of the Hive. I pulled the beta printings for all this.
Okay.
It says pay 5 mana. Creates a giant wasp, comma, a 1/1 flying creature. Represent wasps with tokens, making sure to indicate when each wasp is tapped. Wasps can't attack during the turn created. Treat wasps like artifact creatures in every way, except that they are removed from the game entirely if they ever leave play. Still going. If the Hive is destroyed, the wasps must still be killed individually.
So basically, all the text on this card is explaining how token creatures work. Yeah, exactly. It's all the rules for a token creature.
And also reminding you to remind your opponent that your wasp is actually tapped if you attack with it. Yes, it is tapped. Make sure to remind everybody that it's tapped. I'll ask you, Alex, what do you not love about paying 10 mana to generate a 1/1 flying artifact token? What is there not to love about this card? Why does everybody rip on the Hive all the time? You may pull a copy of the Hive for $1,000 if you purchase a 30th anniversary edition package, or you can buy an original beta copy for a current market price of $389.99.
It's still crazy expensive.
Exactly.
It does look
That's,
good though. I want to emphasize that there's lots of big giant wasps flying out of a rocky crag here, and it's pretty cool.
I mean, it looks awesome. They also look artifacty too, don't they?
Oh yeah, I never thought about that.
They kind of, I'm assuming that was meant to
Yeah,
be that
yeah, I
way.
never thought about that. They don't look like real regular wasps. They look like they might be like construct wasps.
Yeah, I wonder who made these. Who made these? Somebody knows. There has to be some storyline behind who built the
Yeah,
Hive.
right. Some
Is Urza
Mishra,
responsible for
Mishra
this?
wasp or
Is
Urza
Mishra
wasp.
responsible for this?
I was
Somebody
gonna
needs to
say
tell
you
us.
could. What reduces the activation cost of artifacts? You play it with something like that. Play it with a
Urza's incubators.
yeah. Urza,
Choose
Mishra's workshop
wasps.
to cast it for 3 land instead of 5. Just combo up that hive. That's all you need to do.
Yeah. So, I don't
Terrible.
love the Hive. I don't know if I ever played the Hive, but
I don't think so.
I think there are some cards in uh beta and that therefore will also be in this 30th anniversary edition that are worse than the Hive. And I'm going to start getting into that list right now. I'm going to start, Alex, with Animate Wall.
Yeah.
Animate Wall is a rare, first printed in alpha, last printed in 6th edition.
Should not be a rare.
It should not be a rare. Its casting cost is 1 white. It is an enchant wall. Target wall can now attack. Target wall's power and toughness are unchanged, even if its power is 0. So what can you do with Animate Wall, Alex? Well, you have to have a wall to animate first. So it's really a combo card, potentially the worst combo card ever printed in Magic the Gathering. You compare Animate Wall with Wall of Air, which is 1/5 flying. You compare Animate Wall with Wall of Bone, which is 1/4 regenerating. You compare it with Wall of Brambles, 2/3 regenerates. Wall of Swords, 3/5 flying. Alex, this is the move.
Yeah.
Animate a Wall
For
of
those old
Swords.
cards.
You got a badass 3/5 flyer. I'm just picking old walls.
Yeah. Yeah. Wall of Swords would be like the best one, probably.
I think these are all the walls in beta. I think I searched for the beta walls. Maybe these days there's some badass wall. People have made wall decks. I know people make
There
wall
are
decks
a
for fun.
few walls now, I think. I don't know much about this, but I know there have been a few that have been introduced that people use. Stronghold had Wall of Blossoms, but that's more about mana.
Yeah.
Same thing with like Wall of Roots, I think.
Wait, Wall of Blossoms, is it mana or is it like a draw card? Wasn't there a cantrip?
Or a draw card. I'm sorry, that's what I'm sorry. Yeah, when it comes into play, you draw a card.
Yeah. And then the wall from Mirage, which is Wall of Roots, right? Is a
that's
mana.
about mana.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what Wall of Kelp, is that one?
It is. I don't remember what Wall of Kelp is.
It's from Homelands, and it's 2 blue. You tap it and 2 blue to put a kelp token into play, which
I was
is
gonna say kelp token. I was gonna say kelp token and laugh. Like, of course there's no kelp tokens, but there are kelp tokens.
Yeah. And yeah, whatever. I don't think that counts as a good wall. In modern cards, I think there are probably some okay walls that are like, I remember seeing one that was like an artifact, I think. Some kind of artifact wall.
Alex, type in Glyph of Destruction. Does that let you sacrifice a wall to do damage? Now I'm thinking about building a wall deck.
Glyph of Destruction from Legends is 1 red instant. Target wall you control gains +10/+0 when blocking. Any damage dealt to target wall is reduced to 0. Target wall is destroyed at end of turn.
Okay, so that's not sacrifice wall to do damage. It's worse than I thought. You can trick block somebody. They can think that you're just gonna block their creature with your wall that does no damage, and then you're like, boom, I damaged you.
What I don't understand about this card is why it says any damage dealt to target wall is reduced to 0, but then it's destroyed at end of turn. What is the purpose of that ability? The only thing I can see that being useful for is to prevent trample damage to you. or
Maybe. What? Yeah. Yeah. I
you
have no
can't use it on
idea.
an opponent's wall. It has to be a wall you control. I don't know.
I
Weird.
have no idea. Anyways, Glyph of Destruction is not going to be present in 30th Anniversary Edition. Animate Wall
Well,
is. I don't think I gave the price yet for this. You may pull an Animate Wall from your $1,000 30th Anniversary Edition Magic the Gathering purchase, or you can buy an original beta copy for the current market price of $75. I will say the
don't
one
do it.
thing that Anime Wall has going for it is its absurd artwork. It's very funny.
I was gonna. I didn't even see your note at the bottom, but I was gonna mention also. Yes, the art is terrible on this.
It's got a classic artwork.
It's just weird. It's just so weird. It's not like drawn poorly. It's just like
Yeah.
there's a lady
Well,
doing some crazy hand gestures as
she's
if she's
animating it.
animating a wall, and then there's a wall that has these stubby little arms. It's just
Yeah.
like a rectangular wall
Yeah.
of bricks, and it has stubby little arms and a frowny face, and it looks pretty much exactly like a big block that crushes you in Mario.
This is very on the nose. There was
Yeah,
very little interpretation
yeah.
by the artist in this case. They were like, oh,
Well, how
what
can
should
I
I
show that the
draw?
wall is animated? Of course, I will put a face and arms on it
A frowny face
and little feet. Yeah,
to show that
Dan
it's
Fraser.
aggressive.
Normally, I like Dan Fraser.
Alex, do not slander Magic the Gathering
I'm
artists,
not. I'm
especially
not.
classic Magic.
Respect to all of the artists. It's just this is
It's
just
very bizarre. I would be interested in knowing if there was any sort of prompt given to the artist in this
yeah,
case.
probably not. Back then, all the stories seemed to be like they were kind of drawn in the dark a little bit.
Animate wall. I don't know if I was going to draw animate wall, I would not do this just off the top of my head. The first thing I would play with is I would be like, okay, let me think of a wall made out of bricks. And let me think of you could have this lady still doing the same goofy hand gestures like she's animating things.
I'd make it
And
look more like the thing coming alive, though. You know,
yes, you could do that. I was thinking you just have
rock
like
rolling.
bricks like a stack of bricks, and like bricks like flying into the air, animating
Oh,
themselves and
oh,
building themselves up into a wall,
yeah,
or even better, combine our two ideas. Take a wall, have her doing some kind of crazy spell stuff, and then bricks are removed from the wall and recombined to
oh wow,
create a
yeah.
thing like creature. And
Sending
we have
bricks
just
from one wall
created
into another.
legendary animate wall art.
I feel like that rock monster from Mega Man, where all the pieces fly up to like form him.
Yes.
The
If
rock
anybody
monster.
wants to hire us,
Yeah,
we're terrible artists, but we may have ideas.
yeah, we can tell other artists what to do. They'll love us.
We can be like, draw that thing over there, and then they can bring it to us, and we can be like,
Do
no,
it
that's
better.
terrible. And then we rip it up and they throw it in the garbage. Anyways,
Excellent.
we would never do that. I respect
So
artists. I respect Magic the
one thing
Gathering
I want to
artists.
say about Animate Wall is it has room to grow. Like depending if they make good walls in the future,
This is true.
Animate Wall could now be good for one white mana.
There could be a wall block. There could be a whole,
Yeah,
well, they don't do the blocks anymore. There could be a whole wall focused set.
yeah.
Walls of
That'd be
Dominaria.
That'd be so boring.
Yeah. You know what? They put out these Unfinity sets, these goofball sets that are just kind of like jokey. And I
Yeah.
guess in the recent one, they put out like they added stickers to Unfinity, and
Yeah.
they made stickers like tournament legal. People are flipping their shit because they're like, I don't mind your stupid joke sets, but don't you dare let them. Now they're interfering with my game.
Yeah.
There should be a whole Unfinity set based on stupid walls.
Yeah.
I'd be
fun.
into it.
That'd be fun. I was looking through some of the Unfinity cards from this recent set, and they're so ridiculous and wild that a lot of them really do seem fun. I think it would be a fun thing to draft.
Yeah.
I was writing about the draft event they just went to and talking about how some of the people's games played out. They're doing things like having to play mini games within a game. The one guy was like had to balance cards on his head on top of his head during the game. Like they bring in a lot of outside stuff. Like they make you have someone who isn't playing come over and like make a decision. You know, weird. It seems like fun.
Sounds
I
pretty
don't
cool.
think they should be tournament legal or anything related to them should be tournament legal.
I think that's what's getting people upset, right? Weren't there? I don't know how the stickers work, but I think there were stickers that you could attach to cards in the new Infinity set, and I think
I've
there was
only heard
some
murmurings about this.
yeah.
I don't know if they're just mad that they've brought them into Magic at all to begin with, but I thought Infinity cards weren't tournament legal, right? Aren't they not, or are they somehow?
Why don't we Google something really quick? Because
Okay.
yeah, I thought they weren't. I thought they were not tournament legal. They were just a fun set that Wizards of the Coast wanted to put out. But I think that the stickers were tournament legal. I'll do Unfinity. I'm going to Google. This is the part of the podcast where I Google things.
Fine.
Unfinity
Do, do, do.
stickers tournament legality.
Fine.
Most sticker cards from Unfinity will be eternal legal. This is from a Reddit post. The SDCC panel, I don't know what that is, has confirmed that most sticker cards from Infinity will be external legal. I do not like this mechanic being commander legal. I said external legal. I meant eternal legal.
What is eternal? What does eternal legal
I don't
mean?
know. This is leading. We're going to go down a Google hole now. We need to do episodes on the different, what do I want to say? The different formats. And Magic the Gathering, I really don't want to do that so I can personally learn about the different formats in Magic the Gathering. Eternal MTG format. This is the part of the podcast where I Google Eternal MTG format. The Eternal formats. Oh, okay. So it's not a format specifically. It's a grouping. The Eternal formats are Vintage, Legacy, Commander, and Pauper.
Okay.
Eternal sometimes confused with the notion of non-rotating formats. All Eternal formats are non-rotating, but Modern, Pioneer, and Historic are non-rotating formats that are not Eternal. Okay. Little SAT analogy thing going on there. So Eternal format. So basically, stickers are now legal in Vintage, Legacy, Commander, and Pauper. Can you imagine how most people feel about stickers in their Vintage?
Yes.
I bet every Vintage tournament organizer is just going to make their own personal tournament rule where like stickers are not not going to be legal on this one.
So I'm still wondering exactly what this means. Does it just mean that like in the future, if they print stickers that you know, like they're saying like they're just opening the door to that, or do like stickers that are in Unfinity are actually tournament legal now?
Well, there's no stickers outside of Infinity, right?
I don't know. No, I don't think. I think it's the first time. I don't know.
Yeah. So most sticker cards from Infinity will be Eternal legal. Ask your question again. I didn't understand it.
So like is this ruling about the eternal formats, is that just saying that like stickers printed in other sets will be legal in
Oh,
those? Or does it
so
mean
I guess I don't
specifically Infinity?
know the answer to that question yet because it hasn't come up.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't know
still
if
trying
there
to
are
find out.
plans.
I'm still trying to find out if Infinity cards are.
I don't know if there are plans to print stickers in anything outside of Infinity. Oh, so our original question. Well, we answered our original question. Are Infinity sticker cards legal? Yes, they're legal in Eternal formats. Then we answered our second question, which is what are Eternal formats? Now you have an additional third general question. Are Infinity cards ever legal? Are Infinity cards in general, have they been legal in tournaments? Is that what you're wondering now?
Yeah.
Are Infinity cards, this is the part of the podcast where I Google, are Infinity cards legal?
This says Unfinity. It says a part of the set is legal in eternal formats.
Okay.
The cards are mechanically acceptable, though flavorfully more bizarre. So I don't know if that means that, yeah,
I wonder if individual tournaments ever have rules where they're like, okay, Magic's saying that they're legal, but don't play these other
it
tournaments.
seems crazy that these would be legal,
Yeah.
right? At least some of them.
Well, not every card in the set will be tournament legal.
Okay, so how do you tell? Do they print silver borders on the really weird ones?
They do
Like
something.
some are black and some are silver?
At least I'm looking at something from one of the Infinity sets with the legality of some marked by a new acorn stamp in the place of a silver, blah, blah,
Oh,
blah. So
okay.
they
So it has to
stamp
do with
them in
the
some ways.
acorn stamp.
They stamp them in some ways. We should do an episode on the Infinity sets at some point, learn about them. What was I talking about? I was talking about Animate Wall.
Yeah.
We said everything we needed to say about Animate Wall. I'm
Yep.
done with that card. Worse than the Hive.
We'll
That's
come back
my
to it when they print some good walls.
official stance. Worse than the Hive. Who knows what'll happen one day?
No, man, I might rather have pay 1 to make one of my walls attack than
Alex, you're
5 to bring out a Hive.
you're
And
I'm
5 to
getting
move.
I am getting furious right now.
By the way, I have to disagree with some of these picks. We're going to be arguing. So
Okay, listen.
keep going.
Here. Okay. Animate Wall. Depends on the circumstances. If I'm drafting, most of the time I go for the Hive if it's there and in front of me. But if I got an Animate Wall and a wall of swords already, I'm getting the Animate Wall.
Yeah.
Every other circumstance, Hive is better. Next card.
Next card.
From Beta that you might pull in the 30th anniversary edition that I believe is worse than the Hive is Web.
Web.
Web is a rare. It was first printed in Alpha, last printed in 9th edition. Its casting cost is 1 green. It is an enchant creature, which the one thing this card has going for it so far is that it's better than an enchant wall. Target creature gains +0/+2 and can now block flying creatures, though it does not gain the power to fly. So what can you do with this card?
It gives you spider ability on it.
You can turn your grizzly bear into a giant spider.
Oh, that was a good.
That's what you can do with Web. You may pay.
Spider bears.
What'd you say?
Spider bears.
Oh, jeez. Now I want to build a spider bear deck, Alex. Now I'm into the Web. You put these ideas in my head. I have my mind made up, and then I hear something, and then I'm like, "No, I got a new deck. I got to build." I'm into it. Nobody's ever built a spider bear deck before.
Probably not.
First time ever. You may pull Web as your rare if you purchase the 30th anniversary edition product for $1,000, or you can buy an original beta copy for the current market price of $78.75.
Yeah, that's a steal.
Anytime you can get a beta card, a beta rare for under $100, I would tell you not to do it. Don't do that. Don't be a crazy person. But maybe if you are a crazy person or if you're independently wealthy, you might want to do
that. I don't think this is worse than the Hive.
Oh my God,
Alex. What does blow my mind? What does blow my mind is that this is a rare. This should not be a rare.
It should be a common.
Yeah. The Hive should be better, but it should stay a rare.
You would put the Web in your deck before you put the Hive in your deck.
It's like a giant growth type deal. It's 1 green. It makes a creature better. You can't use it as an instant for the surprise, but like, again, if I'm playing mono green or I don't have a lot of flying creatures, this can now block Sarah Angels or whatever. Great.
You cast your grizzly bear. You put a Web on it.
Put it on a grizzly bear.
No, that's the only thing you can do.
Like a 3/3 or a 4. Put it on an Ernom Jin or something.
Alex, listen to me. If you're making a spider bear deck, it has to be on a grizzly bear.
This is why no one built a spider bear deck.
Listen, you put you play a grizzly bear. Then you cast your Web on your grizzly bear. You have your spider bear, 2/4 spider bear, and then whoop-de-doo, then you block your angel. Spare angel kills your spider bear. You get nothing. You've wasted this mana. You've lost to the spare angel.
You should play a spider deck, and you could use it on giant spiders and woolly spiders. That would be a waste of the flying, because they already have the flying block ability.
Yeah, good idea.
No spiders squared.
More waste. I'm not into the Web. Alex thinks it's better than the Hive.
It's only because the Hive is really bad.
Third card. They may or may not be better than the Hive that you could pull from Magic the Gathering 30th Anniversary Edition is Magical Hack. We talked about Magical Hack last week because we were like, what's Magical Hack? We pulled it up. Magical Hack is a rare. It was first printed in Alpha, last printed in 5th edition. Its casting cost is 1 blue. It is an interrupt, which do no longer exist. Change the text of any card being played or already in play by replacing one basic land type with another. For example, you can change Swamp Walk to Planeswalk.
Mm-hmm.
Would I ever play a Magical Hack? I don't know. Maybe, but only because I have a Solkanar the Swamp King, original printing from Legends, not to brag. And yes, I would use a Magical Hack to give my Solkanar Planeswalk and Planeswalk all over your ass.
Yeah, It's not the worst. I've always liked land walk a little bit, myself. So you can use this to, you know, you don't have a lot
Planeswalk
of land
all over
walk
your ass.
options, and you can use this to change it to the type you want.
Alex, I also thought of this too because I know about your love for Typhoon. You can combo this with Typhoon.
Yeah.
You could do 1 damage to somebody for every swamp they control,
Yeah.
every
Or flash
mountain they
fires
control.
and destroy whatever type of land you want.
You could do that. You could also, if you purchase Magic the Gathering 30th Anniversary Edition for $1,000, you could also pull this Magic hack
You could.
as a rare from one of your 4 booster packs. Or you could buy a beta copy for the current market price of $139.99. Alex, is Magical Hack worse than the Hive?
No.
Gun to your head. Good
No.
answer. No, that's a wrong answer. What am I talking about? Alex, Magical Hack is worse than the Hive, Alex.
Not even
Magical
with
Hack is
Pokemon or
worse
the
than the Hive.
Swamp King?
Even though I can combine it with Solkin or the Swamp King.
I'm trying to look at the Magical Hack with the new border, because you're almost certainly going to get the new border one and not the old border.
Yes.
And it sucks.
While you're looking that up, I'm going to go on to the next card. The next card that was in beta and will therefore
Yes.
also be present in Magic the Gathering 30th Anniversary Edition.
Yeah.
Is Fungasaur. Fungasaur is a rare. It was first printed on Alpha, last printed in 8th edition. Casting cost is 3 colorless, 1 green. It's a summoned Fungasaur. It's the only summoned Fungasaur in the game.
Oh, wow.
If you want to make a Fungasaur deck, you have to play Fungasaur. It's 2/2. Each time Fungasaur is damaged but not destroyed, put a 1/1 counter on it. I was going through a list of beta cards. I was like, let me find the worst cards in beta. I just put this on my list when I was scanning through things. I got to say, Alex, this guy is not worse than the Hive. I don't know what I was thinking when I first put this on my list.
See, I was going to say this is worse than the Hive.
Oh my God. You're saying the wrong thing in every single case. Alex, you can get a Fungasaur. You can ping him with a Prodigal Sorcerer, make him bigger every turn.
And Prodigal Sorcerer, you're right.
You can ping him with Pestilence,
him
make him bigger
fast.
every turn.
Yeah.
I mean, worst case scenario, he's a 4 mana 2/2, which is not great.
Yeah.
But you can grow him.
Yes.
You can grow him, Alex.
That's true. Maybe he's better than the Hive then.
I changed my mind totally about the Fungasaur when I started thinking about
it. The reason I hate this so much is because it's just 2/2 to begin with. If you're not comboing it like that, like it's never going to survive the first amount of damage it takes. You have to play it where you're doing the damage to it.
Yes.
But yeah, okay, I can see that as a combo. That's fine. Pump up your Fungasaur. I've always
You may pull Fungasaur as your rare from your $1,000 Magic the Gathering 30th Anniversary Edition booster packs, or you can buy an original beta copy of Fungasaur for a current market price of $354.20. Sweet sassy molassy, Alex.
That is too expensive for this card.
It is.
That is ridiculous.
Fungasaur is kind of fun, but I can have a lot of other fun for $350.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No, I'm saying.
Yeah.
Alex, next card.
Next card.
It was printed in beta. They will also be printed in Magic the Gathering 30th Anniversary Edition. I don't know how to pronounce this card, so I'm just going to go with Helm of Chetsuk. That seems right.
Yeah.
Chetsuk. I don't know who Chetsuk is.
This is better than the Hive.
That is pure insanity.
It only costs 1.
This is insanity, Alex.
It only costs 1 to use.
This is insanity. Helm of Chetsuk. I don't know who Chetsuk is. He was obviously a guy who existed in early Magic the Gathering lore. And did they ever print anything about Chetsuk later on?
Oh, no, but who cares? It's not,
that's not why the card's bad. I'm just bringing that up.
About the Chetsuk flavor.
Helm of Chetsuk. But a big part of the Hive is the flavor.
Yeah, that's true.
Is a rare. It was first printed in Alpha, last printed in Revised. Hasn't been printed since Revised. Crazy. Casting cost 1 colorless. Mono artifact, like we say with the Hive. You have to tap it. It's not in the original, alpha, beta, unlimited printings, but mono artifact, you got to tap it to use it. You can only use it once per turn. Pay 1 mana. You give 1 creature the ability to band until end of turn. You can't do anything. Well, what can you do with this card? You can band.
What's up? Banding's good,
Well, whoopity do. You can band once per turn with one creature.
but it only costs one.
You can just play a creature that bands.
And
for
now,
one.
and just for, well, but there aren't too many. But now you can give anything you
Any
want
creature
banding,
band.
and your opponent is like, oh, do I attack? They could band things together. I don't know what's going to happen.
I've never wanted to band. I guess sometimes you can band, and the good thing is that it confuses people and they'll make the stupid decision. And then you'll be like, sucks for you. You just made the wrong decision. This guy was banded. Now your guys are dead. Mine aren't. I don't remember everything about banding, actually. It's a group blocking or group attacking mechanic, right?
Yeah.
But you can always group block, but you can't group attack unless
Yes,
you
but I think
band.
when you have banding creatures, you get to decide how the
That's
opponent
the other thing. Yeah,
distributes the damage.
that is
So you
true.
can use it to keep your guys alive.
You make the damage decisions.
Yeah. Or something like that. We have to look up banding rules again, but we're confident that they're, I mean, they've said, you know, they don't really like having it in the game.
They removed it. Yeah.
I don't think it's really because it wasn't strong. Like, it's an okay mechanic. Some people like it, but it's just, it leads to confusing rule scenarios.
They said it was too confusing, and honestly, I think you and I just described what banding is. You can team block, you can team attack, and you
Yeah,
get
but when
to
you get
decide how the damage is
cards with
distributed.
different odd effects on them, they that interact with that, then it can get really sloppy, I think.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't really know because I've never actually played banding because
Yeah,
I
I
don't
never
want
tried to
to, and
play
Helm of
banding.
Chatsik is no good, Alex. You can pull Helm of Chatsik as your rare if you pay $1,000 to purchase the 30th anniversary edition booster packs, or you can buy an original beta copy for what MTG stock says is a current market price of $499.99. But that didn't make any sense to me. So I looked at TCG Player. I see light play ones for about $200. So let's say $200.
But
You can
there
get a
are
beta.
also almost none of these for sale.
I did notice that.
Lightly played. I even looked up unlimited. There's only like one unlimited one for sale near me.
You know what this might mean, Alex?
Yeah.
We might have discovered an under the radar buyout that's going on Helm of Chatsuk. What were you going to say?
I was looking for the unlimited. Unlimited, there was one copy for sale for $25.
Yeah. Not bad. If you want a terrible card that's worse than the Hive, you can purchase a $25 unlimited Helm of Chatsuk.
Looks better on the black border.
Yeah, most things do.
Yeah.
Next card. Originally printed in beta. No, not originally printed beta. That's present in beta. It will also be present in the 30th anniversary edition. There may or may not be worse than the Hive. Let's see what Alex has to say about it. Is Living Artifact. Alex, I've never played a Living
Worse than the
Artifact.
Hive. Worse than the Hive.
Living Artifact is a rare. First printed in alpha, last printed in 5th edition. Its casting cost is 1 green. It's an enchant artifact. Better than an enchant wall. Not as good as an enchant creature. When you play a Living Artifact, you can put a counter on target artifact for each life you lose. During upkeep, you may trade 1 counter for 1 life, but you can only trade in 1 counter each turn. So basically, I read this card. It's telling me that every time I'm damaged, I can gain 1 and only 1 life back next turn.
Yeah.
During my upkeep.
You can, yeah, like if you can gain 1 life a turn, but never more than the total damage you have taken thus far.
Never more than 1 life per turn, right?
Never more than 1 life per turn, and never more total than the total damage. Like if I lightning bolt you, okay, and then you put down Living Artifact, you will gain 1 life per turn for 3 turns, but then it won't work anymore because it will be out of counters, right?
I don't even think it's that good.
I would lightning bolt you, and you would put 3 counters.
I thought you just put 1. It says put a counter on target artifact for. Okay, it does say each life you lose. I was thinking each time you were damaged, you put 1 counter. But yes, it is 1 counter for each life you lose.
You get 3 counters for the lightning bolt, and then every turn you could use 1. You get 1 life back for each one of them.
So this card is much better than I thought it was when I first read it because I wasn't reading it closely, and it's still worse than the Hive.
Yeah, this is life gain is so bad, and I'm sure there's plenty of cards that would just like let you gain 1 life a turn, right, or something like that that you would just play, right? I
There's
don't even
something
know.
called Sundrop in a more modern set that somebody was referencing about. They were discussing in some comment sections that I was seeing about Living Artifact as a much better version
Mm,
of uh, Living Artifact. This reminds me. This makes me think. Not reminds me. Makes me think of something. Let's say you're in a hive battle. You're back to back hiving.
unlikely, but go on.
My opponent just has a hive. I have a hive and a living artifact. I
Okay.
living artifact my hive.
Yes.
I'm killing it. I'm living it up, right?
Right. Yeah, because they can't do much to you with their.
I'm dominating, man.
I mean, as long as how many hive wasps do you expect them to make?
We make the same amount of hive wasps every turn. I have a living artifact, they don't. I'm
Right.
killing it.
I guess if no one plays any more cards.
Exactly. In that very specific scenario where they just have a hive and I have a living artifact hive, and then we make the same number of hive tokens each turn. So if you're ever in that situation, you're going to want a living artifact. And if you want a living artifact,
Anything else good?
if you want to live it, no, there's nothing else in this situation. It's just hive and living artifacts, and of course lands for the mana to generate the 1 token a turn. There's nothing else.
Okay.
You can pull this rare as one of your 4 rares if you pay $1,000 for 30th anniversary edition, or you can buy original beta copy for a current market price of $162.25. That's too much.
Definitely too much.
That's too much. The other thing you can do with living artifact is if you have an artifact, you enchant it with living artifact, and you also have pestilence in play. Each turn you could do 1 damage to yourself and your opponent, and then your upkeep you get that life back with
Yeah.
living artifact.
Yeah.
So you very slowly ping down your opponent and just get it back with living artifact. That'd be a terrible game of Magic.
Or you could put it on your copper tablet, which will do 1 damage to everyone during their upkeep.
I wanted to write Forsaken Waste because that was the thing that popped in my head, but then I also remember Forsaken Waste prevents people from gaining life.
Oh.
But copper tablets is the way to go.
Yeah.
This, oh my god, I'm in it, Alex. I'm back
Copper
in.
tablet living land deck, baby.
Exactly.
I make a copper tablet deck. So
I've wanted to build a copper tablet deck. So here you go. This is the combo. Then this is why they put these 2 cards in the same set. Here's Sun Droplet, Alex. This is the card that I mentioned that I saw people discuss in comment sections on Living Artifact. It was first printed in Mirrodin. It's 2 colorless artifact. Whenever you're dealt damage, put that many charge counters on Sun Droplet. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, you may remove a charge counter from Sun Droplet. If you do, you gain 1 life. So it's basically an already living artifact.
Yeah. Yeah, which is good because you don't have to worry about, someone destroying your art. If you have 2 cards in play doing that, then you have more weak links in the chain they can destroy.
And you can gain a life during each person's upkeep.
Oh.
So basically it's a 2-for-1. It's twice as good. Just for that reason. Then living artifact, right? Living artifact was just your upkeep. I wrote during upkeep, but
Okay.
Is that really the language that's in the card? let me pull it up. I don't know if I left out a word when I was typing this up or if that's really the language that was on the beta version. Here we go. Yeah, it says during upkeep. Okay. So does that mean during each person's upkeep? Oh my god.
We have to look up the subsequent printings and see if they changed it.
Oh my god. I don't know how to play it. Is Living Artifact much better than I thought it was, Alex?
No.
Sun Droplet is still better because it's an artifact.
Although you could play Living Artifact in an Enchantress deck.
That's true.
I'll continue to bring up every time we talk about an enchantment.
That's true, Alex. Now I need to make a copper artifact. No. Yeah, I'll call it copper artifact because that's the combo.
Yeah, it says
copper tablet living artifact.
Your upkeep.
Your upkeep?
Yeah, for
living. Okay. So Sun Droplet is definitely better.
Also, this is weird because in the beta version it says life you lose But in the later versions, they've changed it for damage dealt to you.
I was going to ask if it said damage instead.
And there's a ruling that says does not trigger on loss of life, just on damage. And that seems crazy to me. Like it specifically says, like, what is that because they painted themselves into a corner by changing it in a later printing? It still says life you lose in unlimited and revised. And then in 4th edition, they changed it to for each damage dealt to you.
I have no idea, Alex. My brain's not functioning properly. I don't know why they would make that change.
So you couldn't use it to recoup like life paying costs, but it's still not that good. It's still not like it would be. You only do it once a turn. Yeah, I don't know. The art's really weird on this. It's like a weird tentacly abomination in a cage dangling.
Yeah, what is it? It looks like an artifact that was once an artifact, but now it's coming to life and trying to burst out of its remaining mechanical framework.
I guess. I think it's a cage. I think it's just in a cage.
Just a cage, just caging it. Okay. Anson Maddox was on drugs when he came up with this one. What was the prompt for this? Nobody will know. Nobody knows.
That's true. The beta one does look pretty cool though.
The next card.
Next card.
It was printed in beta and will therefore also be printed in Magic the Gathering 30th Anniversary Edition. That I believe is worse than the Hive. It's not actually just one card. It is 5 cards, Alex. I'm combining them all together. It is all of the laces. The laces are Chaos Lace, Pure Lace, Thought Lace, Death Lace, Living Lace. There's one for each color. They're all 1 mana. They're all interrupts, which no longer exist. They just allow you to change the color of a card that is being played or already in play to another color. That's it. Those are the laces.
That's it.
I don't really have anything to say about the laces.
Notoriously bad.
They're notoriously bad.
Notorious disappointment. No one ever wants to pull like, yeah, you don't want to pull this out of a pack.
What makes these worse than Magical Hack again? Magical Hack is land. These are colors.
Yeah, these are color.
That's right.
So a couple things about these. First off, I want to at least say in like the best defense I can give these at all is that I noticed in the notes when you put a picture of all 5 of them side by side, it does look kind of nice to see all that old school artwork there, one of each color, all next to each other. If they cost $1 each, I would put them in a binder to look at.
Mm-hmm. Just a touch, just a fondle every once in a while.
Yeah, hoard over once in a while. I'll be like,
here's home from a hard day of work.
Artwork. You know.
Open up your binder, touch your cards.
Yeah, I like having the old artwork. But yeah, they're pretty bad. And here's what I don't understand. So I never really hated this mechanic, like changing color of something, because you can combo with stuff like, for example, Terror would be a classic old card that you could now use. You could use a Lace and a Terror to kill whatever creature you want.
Yep.
I assume as the game has gone on, they've made more cards that would make these better. There are more cards that affect other cards of a specific color. So you can always use these in combo with them. And it's funny that you just pulled that up right now, because that's the other thing I was going to talk about is the card Sleight of Mind, which is in the same set. It was in beta. It's 1 blue interrupt. But it basically does the same thing as all of the laces combined. You can change 1 instance of a color to an instance of another color. Unless I'm missing something when I read these, I don't see how this is not strictly better than the blue lace, and better if you're playing blue than all the other laces.
As we were talking about the laces, I thought of Sleight of Mind. And I pulled this up, and I was sitting here trying to remind myself why Sleight of Mind is better than the laces, because I have a memory of people sometimes actually putting Sleight of Mind as a one-off in decks, and sometimes it being like a bitch to play against. Like every once in a while, somebody would pull out a Sleight of Mind and be like, damn it. And yeah, there's nothing popping out to me right now I can't think of any reason why, like you said, it's not strictly better than Thought Lace. Change the text of any card being played or already in play by replacing one color word with another. That's Sleight of Mind. Thought Lace. Change the color of the card being played or already in play. One, you're changing the text of any card.
I get
The
it.
other, you're changing the color of the card.
Yes. Okay. So I could use a Sleight of Mind on my terror, but I would use a Thought Lace or a
On the
Thought Lace
creature.
on my opponent's creature before I terrored it. I see.
But still, the Sleight of Mind, you could change the text from one color to any other color. The Thought Lace, you're still limited to just changing it to
Yes, you still have that.
blue.
You still have multiple things you can do with this card. So I like it more.
Yeah.
The question is, how often is it more important to change the wording as opposed to the actual color of the card?
That's what I'm trying to think of, and I am not going to be able to come up
No,
with a good answer to that right now.
No. I have to look at a lot of cards.
But just historically, when I think of what was played,
yes, people played this more.
I would say obviously Sleight of Mind because it had so many more use cases that I remember back in the day. But were people just overlooking Thought Lace? Potentially, but I don't think so. But I don't want to say for sure no. Just based on the amount of use it got back in the day, I would think that most of the time you'd prefer to change the text of the card as opposed to the actual color of the card. Yeah, I'd have to think about that for a while. And by think about it, I mean get on the internet and see what other people had to say about it. But also think about it. So all the laces, change the color of a target card. Whoop-de-doo, Alex. Whoop-de-doo. You can get them around $100 if you want to buy the beta versions. Original beta printings. I'm saying original.
Preposterous.
It is preposterous. Alex, those are all the cards that I have to present to you.
Wait, while we're talking about the laces, also I want to throw out you have another option too. Prismatic Lace from Mirage.
Prismatic Lace.
It's a 1 blue instant. I believe it's a reserved list card, which doesn't really matter too much because it's not good. But sorry, 1 second. Prismatic Lace.
Pick up the phone, Alex. Put them on the podcast.
Prismatic Lace is 1 blue, and target permanent becomes the color of your choice. So it's like a lace, but it only affects permanents, not spells being cast, but it can affect any color instead of just the one color.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that $100?
No. It's like $4.
Okay. That's my list of cards, Alex. But I want to say something. When I first thought of this segment, I was like, oh, let me just pull up all the cards in beta, scan through them, write down a list of the things that obviously look worse to me than the Hive.
Mm-hmm.
As I started writing them down, typing out what they did, I got a major twist. I'm going to go all M. Night Shyamalan right here, Alex. Most of these are not worse than the Hive. I totally changed my mind.
Okay.
Laces, I'd say they're definitely worse than the Hive. And what was killing me was the thing that you actually said. Oh, the Hive's so expensive. Animate Wall is worse than the Hive. Laces are worse than the Hive. Magical Hack might be worse than the Hive. None of the others are worse than the Hive, Alex. Helm of Chatsook is better than the Hive. Web is better than the Hive. Fungasaur is better than the Hive. We might disagree on that one, but I'm actually really into Fungasaur.
I think you persuaded me on Fungasaur.
I think Living Artifact might be worse than the Hive.
Yes.
But in general, the Hive is much worse than I thought.
It's just so much, man.
It's much worse than I
remembered.
remembered.
Like 5 to summon, and then you just tapped it, or spent 1 and tapped it.
Yes. They could have made it reasonable. They did not make it
5
reasonable.
mana every turn to bring out 1/1s that late in the game. Like, it's just.
It has a historic place in Magic. I think it was the first token generator ever.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's a flavorful card. It's a neat card.
Foundation.
But yeah, these things that I were like, what am I going to do with the web? You know, I can't kill anybody with the web. That's where my simple brain was going. I was like, I can kill people with the Hive. If I draft the Hive, it gives me creatures I could attack with. The web, I need to have a creature already. Just pumps up the defense.
Spell for 1 mana, I
It's
guess.
it's the mana cost, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the mana cost. It makes all the difference, Alex. The Hive just sucks up all your resources. You know how to lose a game of Magic?
Spend your resources.
Play a terrible card that sucks up all your resources.
There you go.
Play the Hive.
Well, that was very interesting.
Okie dokie, Alex.
Enjoyed talking about all of those.
Do you have anything you want to discuss today?
I don't think so. I have to get going soon after
Alrighty.
an errand.
Okie dokie. Thank you for listening to the Old Man Magic podcast. I hope you enjoyed. Please follow us on YouTube. We're up to 10 subscribers, man. That's crazy.
Ooh.
I'm only one of those subscribers. Let's see if we can get to 15 subscribers. If you enjoyed our episode, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. You can also listen to our podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You have anything to add, Alex?
No, thanks for tuning in, and always have fun talking about magic.
Talk to you next week.
time.